What if I told you that everything you've heard about China in the United States is probably wrong? What if I told you that the image of China as a place with no freedom, dirty streets, unfriendly people, and total control is decades out of date? Today, I'm going to share with you a story that might completely change the way you see China, and why so many Americans refuse to believe what it's really like. Stay with me because by the end, you might question everything you thought you knew. One of the biggest misconceptions in the US is that China is a place with no freedom. That's the narrative constantly presented in mainstream media. But after living in China for over 10 years, I can confidently tell you it's nothing like what you think. When people ask me, "So, what's China really like?" I always give the same response: "I'll tell you, but you probably won't believe me," because truthfully, China is unlike anything most Americans can even imagine. This past summer, I took my wife and 3 children back to China. We spent 2 months traveling across the country, and for my kids, my 8-year-old daughter and twin 5-year-old boys, it was their first real-time experiencing China, and they were blown away. We shared videos on Instagram with friends back home in the US, and everyone kept saying the same thing: "Wait, this is China? These are Chinese cities? The roads are this clean? The food looks this fresh? The people seem this friendly? Are you sure you're not in Tokyo or Singapore?" The truth is, most Americans are still stuck in a 1970 seconds image of China. Chairman Mao suits, bicycles, poverty, gray skies, and a closed-off society. That's not the China of today. China today is modern, advanced, vibrant, and most importantly safe. Let me give you just one example. In America, we're proud of the Second Amendment, the right to own a gun. But I personally don't own one. I don't like them. I don't feel safe around them. Now, when I lived in China, something struck me: the complete absence of gun crime. Zero. Imagine being in a city like Shanghai, with 25 to 30 million people. You could go out at 2 in the morning, wearing a nice watch, carrying cash, dressed well. And guess what? No one is going to bother you. No one is going to rob you. No one is going to shoot you. That's freedom of a different kind, the freedom to walk safely in your own city, anytime, day or night. And here's another thing many Americans don't know. The Chinese people are incredibly curious and welcoming. When I first arrived in China back in 2007, I couldn't speak a single word of Chinese. Zero. And back then, we didn't have Google Maps or smartphones. I carried a paper map, trying to figure out my way. And every time, locals would approach me, they'd smile, ask where I was going, and even walk me to my hotel or restaurant. Parents would encourage their children to practice English with me. Strangers treated me like a guest. I felt respected, and in return, I respected their culture. That's the China most people never get to see on the evening news. Think about it. Moving from Florida to Texas in the US feels like a big deal for many Americans. But moving from Florida to China? That's a complete 180. A new culture, new language, a completely different way of life. And yet, what I found was not fear or oppression, but opportunity. Back in 2007, China's economy was booming. The only thing I knew before moving there was simple: China was growing fast, and learning Chinese could be the best investment in my future. I told myself this would be my version of a master's degree, and it was. Living in China, speaking Chinese, and understanding its people gave me more opportunities than I could have ever imagined. So, me ask you, why is it that when someone actually goes to China, they always come back with a completely different perspective? Why is it that the reality, clean cities, safe streets, modern malls, friendly people sounds like a lie to so many Americans? The truth is, media stereotypes and outdated narratives are powerful, but the moment you step foot in China, those ideas collapse. And that's exactly why Americans can't defeat China in the battle of perception. Because once you see it with your own eyes, you realize the truth is far more surprising and far more inspiring than the story you've been told. So, is China really what the media says it is? Or is it something completely different? The only way to know is to see it yourself. And once you do, you'll understand why so many people come back saying the same thing. This isn't the China I was told about. This is something else entirely. Stay tuned, because in my next video, I'll dive deeper into what daily life in China is really like, and why so many Americans refuse to believe it.